Is Vice President of Young America's Foundation and a former Virginia Republican Party chair. Leslie Marshall is radio talk show host, and they both join us. Thanks, ladies. Good to have you here today.
Thanks.
Leslie, let's dive in with you first. You know, when you look at everything that's on his plate, you know, we talk about the first 100 days. I said, you know what, let's talk about the first week. Let's talk about what he needs to do to sort of restore some, you know, continue some stability and get moving on this big job.
Well, I agree with you. I think the first 100 hours is really going to be tough to tackle. First and foremost, the economy. He has to push the economic stimulus plan to be bought by the American people, and that has to push through Congress. We are talking so much money. We have to be pulled out of a recession. That is essential for our nation and for the rest of the world. Secondly, he has to keep his promises. He has to sign the executive order not only to close Guantanamo Bay, but to have the plans as to how to do that, what to be done with the prisoners, what type of a court, if any, should be set up. Certainly, as you know, the prisoners are broken down into 3 separate categories. What do we do with each of those categories based on their level of security and certainly the stability or lack of for the United States when it comes to those individuals? And lastly, I feel that he should send future Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton to Israel. We need more than a ceasefire, which is being penned today by Rice and Livni. What we need is the establishment of peace in that region. We need clearly as a nation to show a difference and not just full loyalty to Israel, but the recognition of the Palestinians and their right to have their state within the state of Israel. That needs to be done, and that would be a legacy for him, Hillary Rodham Clinton, and it would show peace and stability not only in that region, but throughout the world.
Well, I can't remember a president in my lifetime who hasn't tried to achieve peace in the Middle East. We'll see if
Bill Clinton almost
has any more luck. Ben Pershing is also joining us. He's all set up now in Washington. He's the WashingtonPost.com political writer, reporter, and he was in the Washington Post meeting with the president-elect. Ben, welcome. Good to have you here. Your thoughts,
Thank you.
You know, as a reporter covering this new president, tell me a little bit about what you think he needs to do to be politically successful in the first week or so.
I think he's obviously going to have to roll up his sleeves and get to work on the stimulus. It won't be ready for him to sign in the first week, but it will be moving through Congress, and I think he's going to have to get directly involved to make sure it looks like what he wants it to look like, and he's going to have to sell it to the American people and convince them that this huge amount of money, $800 billion, is necessary to spend. I think that's job number 1. I think the bailout is part 2. The government already has the authority to use the money, but it's really not popular. And I think Obama's going to have to do another sales job there and convince Americans that it's the right thing to do to keep spending this money and that it will actually help them and not just help sort of big banks, which is, I think, the public perception right now of how the bailout's going.
Yeah.
And the third part, I think, beyond Mideast peace is actually Afghanistan. Obama's going to need to emphasize that he wants to shift troops there, that it's going to be a long haul, and kind of lay down the groundwork for a long commitment of troops there.
I think it's going to be really important for him to make decisive action, you know, because so far what we've been hearing, Kate Obenshain, is, you know, these are the things I want to do, but there's only one president at a time. And I think a lot of people, just judging from what we're seeing from our viewers, they want some real specifics on how that TARP money is going to be used. A lot of them don't want it to be, you know, allotted in the first place, and now it looks like it will be. What do you think he needs to get very specific about in that first week, Kate?
Well, I think the American people have spoken very clearly on that money, and they're tired of seeing these massive amounts of money being spent. We've got a $1 trillion deficit. If government spending meant wealth, we'd be in economic nirvana right now. So he needs to abandon this $1 trillion spending program and surprise everybody with real change and slash individual and corporate tax rates.
How likely do you think that is, Kate? We haven't heard anything like that.
Well, I'm still going for it, Martha.
Okay,
you asked what he should do. That's what he should do. Okay, but I'm going for it. I think the Republicans need to stand firmly on that one. 2, because it's a national security issue, we need to stop with this politics of peddling influence and require Bill Clinton to immediately, at time of receipt, disclose any foreign contributions and income. That will influence our foreign policy dramatically if he's able to just be taking in these millions and millions of dollars.
Well, that's going to help our economy.
Use some of that political capital that he's got, and this is something the American people would love, and allow individuals, America's children who are in failing school districts like the District of Columbia, to be able to have the same choice that his daughters had and push through a school choice program right away. That would give him credibility and would override all of that partisanship, and he would have a real bipartisan approach.
All right, Kate, I don't think that you're likely to get too many things on your list right off the bat, at least based on what we're hearing. We'll see if he's listening to all of our folks here today and see how things happen in the first week. We're getting closer every day. Ben, thank you very much for being here. Leslie, thank you. Kate, we'll see where we get on some of those measures that you all suggested. Talk to you.